hit record. Good morning. Welcome to the coffee chat. And we're going to get started. We did just kind of chat about the fun facts for fall. So that was in the newsletter. So you can see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay. So today I added in a little bit of a topic that Deb and I didn't really talk about, but I found a great article when I was looking at fall facts. And so I just want to kind of share some of those. So preparing for winter, preparing our mind and our body, but we're really also going to just share with you too, our fiber fueled and ultimate reset highlights. But first, announcements. So Let's Get Up is now in your bod, or will be in your bod library on Monday. So if you haven't tried that out, this is a great program that it's dance conditioning. So he really breaks it down, and I love how he makes the moves to relate to everyday life. Like pick the bowl up from the counter and put it on the table, and so he kind of shows you how it really is to also functional fitness. And he has some weight training segment in there that's kind of dancey, so it's cool. And then also a little burst of cardio, and then you go back and you repeat the dance moves again a couple of times, and then at the very end there's a what do they call it, a TikTok moment kind of thing, where he just breaks it down for a quick, like 30-second routine that you can have fun and just really get your attitude out. So check it out when it drops in your bod library on Monday, if you haven't tried it already. And then Boost and Glow Week is coming up August 26th to September 1st. Can you believe September 1st is right around the corner? But it's 10% off of the Boost and collagen. So the thing is, if you can mix those together, you get your glow on plus a little boost. So if you haven't tried one of the boosts, like Focused Energy, it's a good time getting 10% off. So that's coming up at the end of next week. And then our next coffee chat, we're going to go over our September group, which is Fit for Fall. So in that group, Deb had a great idea to, instead of having a book that we suggest, and on the last coffee chat, people mentioned how they have like stacks of books that they haven't been able to read because we keep going into different ones. So it's really pick a book that fits for you. So one that you've been wanting to read for a while, and we'll have a section in the group declare, so that you can show us what book you're reading. And we really want to encourage people as they're reading their book, if something pops out, that they share about that in the group, so that we can all, see what you're reading and what kind of information you're getting from it. And so it might be something we want to read in the future. So our September group is Fit for Fall. We'll go over that next week. And then Preferred Customer Club is active now. So this is really great that if you already are a coach and you have it for the discount, it's really the same. The only tweak for you would be that if you're you don't have any, as a coach, we have a requirement every month to meet a certain personal volume, so that it just shows that you are using the products so that you can experience them and share about them. And if right now discount coaches, if they don't meet that, they are the jeopardy of falling inactive. So with Preferred Customer, that doesn't happen. So you're still paying the $15.95 a month for your membership. And it's kind of like Costco. You pay a certain amount and then you get all the great discounts. So you'll still get the 25% discount. You'll still get access to all the early access stuff. But you won't be getting all the extra coach emails from headquarters, and you'll just stay active. So it also gives you a spot in the binary chart that if for some reason down the road you decide, yeah, I do want to coach, or I do want to make a little extra commission by referring to my friends, you can still you're still in the binary lineup, and which just gives you a better placement. So if you are discount coach right now and you want to transition to the Preferred Customer Club, let me know. And it's really a quick couple clicks and you're done. And then upcoming program specific groups. So I don't know if Deb's going to talk about it, but I wanted to throw it in here. 30-day breakaway. She is doing this next month. And so she'll be sort of, I think it was September 11th. Yeah. And doing a prep week before that. And it's to, 30-day breakaway is the running, walking program that does have some weight training in it. And it gets you ready for a 5K, and she's doing a Halloween one. So it'll, kind of get you right set up for that. And then after that, she's doing a PIO specific group. So if you haven't done it, or you haven't done it in a while, PIO is a great program. All body weight moves, stretching and strengthening at the same time. And then just want a reminder that body will be out for everybody in September. So if you have Nutrition Plus now, you've had access to the beta, but it's going to go full scale for everybody starting next month. I'm not sure exactly the date that happens, but it's coming. Any announcements, Deb?
No, but just that the running or walking group, starting September 11th, it's odd on a Saturday because my run I signed up for was on a Sunday. So you kind of have to work backwards. So, but it's your personal rate perceived exertion. You don't have to run, you can walk. And it's called the No Sugar Skulls crew because it's a Halloween thing. And then the PIO, it's called Yo You, Let's Go. That was one of the reasons why I signed up for Team Beachbody was I wanted to do PIO, and I never have yet. So I figured it would be best why not do it now, especially after the running event. And the more I'm diving into it a little bit, it's no jumping. It's you don't get injured. You don't even need weights. It's just literally it's Pilates and yoga, and get your mat on and enjoy the process. It's an 8-week process. So anyway, I'm excited to do it.
Oh, I don't know. Sorry, I was just asking Maury to let the cat in. I didn't know you didn't ever do PIO yet.
No, it's funny.
Yeah.
That's how I met Louise. We were doing a run, and it was Westchester Lagoon in Anchorage, and I was talking to my girlfriend Jewel, and it's like, PIO, I've heard a lot about it, but you had to sign up for the local club. I think it was the Anchorage Club or something. Oh, athletic club or something like that. And in order to take the class, you had to sign up. And then Louise overheard the conversation. She goes, "No, you don't need that. You can just do it right at home." And it was like, what? And just started lurking with Louise, and here we go. Yeah. So.
That's how it works.
I know. So
cool.
Anyway,
So
I'm excited. It'll be done by December 19th, so then you can enjoy the holidays and stuff. Awesome. So that's why I was rolling right into that. Yeah, cool.
That'll be perfect. Okay, so moving on to highlights and revelations. So we're going to talk just, I don't have any slides for this, but so I'm going to stop sharing so that we can just kind of give a quick, our highlights, our revelations. And I'll go ahead and start. I had to get my mind wrapped around them last night. Let's see. So just like 3 major revelations for me is this is my 4th time through the reset, and the food prep and the cooking was not intimidating at all this time. Even kind of like going into it, knowing about the amount of time that we do spend in the kitchen, making fresh food. I kind of had that anxiety a little bit, but as I was doing it, I was like, I've done it enough times that I know all the little tips, and I knew, plus cooking more in the last few years, I was less intimidated in the kitchen itself, because I know the first time that I did it, I was kind of a new coach, and the whole food prep, meal planning, all of that was not something that I did. So just knowing that, like, over time, as you're getting more familiar with not just meal planning, but meal prepping, trying new recipes, like I've learned, and I feel like my experience in the kitchen has helped this reset be a lot easier. And then the big one was that I do not do well with prescriptive plans, especially after anything longer than 14 days, right? I think just with the protocol that I've become accustomed to with, the simple meal planning system that I use, easy tracking, being able to have in my treats, has served me well. And then to go to something that's really prescriptive, kind of, I didn't, psychologically, it impacted me more. I felt a little more deprived. Not that you're starving or anything. There's plenty of food, really good tasting food, but just my lifestyle now includes treats. So, it was that, and it's the thing I try to tell people too, is like, if get this pre-made template meal plan for you, or you're trying to follow something that's really prescriptive, you're not likely to stick to it, especially long term. And that's just what my experience going through this. This is not something I can do long term, this particular format. So it was, I really am grateful for that revelation. And then just my stark awareness that I need to eat more, a larger variety of foods. Like 30, like it talks about in the fiber fueled too, 30 different veggies each week, less red meat. So just incorporating more lean meats, chicken, turkey, fish, more fish. And then it's probably, we were getting into a lot of red meat, and that's probably why my colon wasn't clearing well. And then miso is a good afternoon snack idea that is a fermented food. And so I was sharing with Deb and Sheila, I can't do fermented food very well because I have a bladder sling, so I get frequent urinary tract infections. So if every now and then when I have kombucha, I can tell like that I've drank the kombucha. It affects me down there, but miso doesn't. So I kind of like staying away from fermented foods. So those are my big ones. And I'm happy that we went through it for sure. Feel good. So that's my takeaway from the reset. And then I'll go into fiber fueled after Deb's and Sheila had a chance to share. So why don't you go, Deb? Because Sheila, I noticed in the airport, she might be boarding the plane or something.
Oh, okay. So my biggest takeaway is my body got more in tune of what I was eating. And why I say that is I recognize that during our elimination stage, I had, sinus problems, and I was able to, being a prescriptive menu and figuring out what I ate the day before, I was able to localize it as coconut milk. And I was conscious about what that was reacting, why was I reacting to that? And it's interesting because when you read Fiber Fueled, he talks a little bit about that. So when I took the food sensitivity test months ago, preparing for this in a way, I was curious of the foods I was sensitive to. Well, a lot of the foods in the reset was actually some of the foods I thought I had to eliminate, but not the case. So what the interesting thing is the food I had created this tolerance sensitivity was something I should be eating instead.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I go through this breakthrough, I didn't have, like I had coconut milk last night with my collard greens. I did not have that reaction this morning. So you just kind of go through these phases of intention. And when I'm restoring this week and actually eating or consuming that sensitive food, I am not congested, I'm not bloated and passing gas or anything like that. So it's like, ooh, that's interesting. So it's interesting that your body is designed to do that. And so you kind of have to go through that breakthrough. And the other takeaway is my bowel movements. I was constipated a lot. Knowing now, similar to Louise, is the protein intake was mostly meat based because of Ken, Mr. Keto Man. But no fault of his own. That's his preference, and I think I was keeping up with him, and I didn't need to. So I'm recognizing my body does not need that intensity of protein. But the upside of this is learning other proteins like tempeh, kale, and how it turns into protein. There's a reason why, well, my little takeaway from blending with fiber fuel is putting lemon with kale. You put fresh lemon with kale, it accelerates the iron and the protein in that food. And I was like, oh, that's why it's always in 3-day refresh. But that's interesting because I can get the protein in another form, and it doesn't necessarily mean I have to have that big old steak that Ken has. So that was the upside. And then the other upside, um, it was kind of emotional on the third week because I was getting frankly pissy. And I was like, oh God, I gotta cook again. And I was just really a bad mood all day. But I do miss that type of meal prepping with the portion control and sous vide mindset, to have that standby meals for the week, and it's already set and it's there and it's effortless to cook. Um, but on the flip side, I thoroughly enjoy cooking and trying new recipes, but I was more embracing of the fresh herbs. I purposely went out and I even bought a basil plant. And how fresh can you get? So that part of it was a good thing. And then I'm certainly keeping some of these recipes because now tempeh is a part of my diet. I want to continue on because I didn't realize how much protein it was. I enjoy it. Ken can have his meat. I can have my tempeh, and it's easy to make, easy to do. While he marinates his steak, I can marinate my tempeh and cook it the same manner. So anyways, it was a great experience. I probably will do it in the future. Now I know what to expect. But I did sleep a lot better, and a lot less bloated. Lost about 7, probably going on 8 pounds now. Um, Clothes fit a lot better, and just that discomfort in the belly and the gut is so much, it's gone. And I feel clearer. My cognitive is a lot clearer. So I'm studying and whatever I'm doing, I'm focused. So anyways, those are my takeaways from the Ultimate Reset.
Yeah, some great benefits that come from it that you don't realize, besides losing some weight. And I wasn't in it for losing weight, so I was very, mindful of that. And so I would add some of the tips for men in there, just to get extra stuff. So, yeah, very happy about it. Let's see. Sheila says in the chat, I too struggled near the end with the length of time sticking with a restricted menu. For me, there was an enormous amount of food prep from what I'm used to. I was brave and tried so very many new foods. Yes, she did, that I have never tried. Many of them I liked, a few not so much. Ditto with Deb and Louise said, love the fresh food and herbs, more variety. I feel great. And my sleep has also been reset. Awesome. Awesome. So we did body scan. So I'm going to put that link in the group of this new app called Me 360, and it does a scan, and you punch in your weight and it does a scan of your body, gives you body fat percentage, gives you all your measurements and lean body mass. So it was a really cool tool to start with. And Maury and I did our scans this morning, and I think she was going to do hers too before she left. If not, she will get them done and share them in the group. So, and so let's move on to fiber fueled. So I know at some point we'll get back to actually sharing in the group again, like our takeaways, our Tuesday talk and Thursday thoughts for our group. And so next month, as we pick our own book, hopefully all of us will get in there and share our takeaways for the books that we're reading. So just a couple of things for me. One of his quotes is, having a gut feeling shouldn't just be an emotional response. So this paired so well with the reset for us being aware of how we were feeling in our gut. So the whole thing is, he's got the word, the F word, which obviously is fiber, and includes fermented food. So it's really eating lots of plant-based as much as you can, including fermented food. So just having that diversity. Our energy isn't just generated from what we eat, but from what we absorb. That is huge. I never really thought about that. So when our gut, if it's not working efficiently, it's not absorbing the nutrients. The nutrients aren't getting to our cells. And with the society and this food that we're eating right now, a lot of us have at some level probably leaky gut. And which means that our food particles are getting they're penetrating the very thin lining of our gut and getting into our bloodstream, which is not good. We don't want that there. And when it does, our body thinks that that's it ignites the immune system, and our bodies start attacking the pathogen, this food particle that's in the bloodstream that shouldn't be there. And it creates a very high inflammatory response. And then that, goes, travels throughout our body, and then causes all kinds of things like our bloating, our heartburn, our diarrhea. And then some of the biggest signs for a poor gut health come from our brain, because we have that brain-body connection. So brain fog, poor memory, insomnia, they're all signs of a poor functioning digestive system. So when the gut isn't happy, the nutrients don't get to our cells, and we still feel tired, bloated, unwell, uncomfortable. So really, the gut health is critical. And we can be exercising and eating well, but if we're not getting enough fiber, not eating a diversity of plant foods, our gut isn't happy. We could still be having leaky gut. And so our efforts aren't going to be, we're not doing it efficiently or effectively. We're not getting the maximum benefit that we could from our effort. So there's 39 trillion microorganisms that live in our colon. And these are bacteria, and they far outweigh the number of cells in our body. And bacteria is generally looked at as bad, kind of just the thought is negative bacteria. But there are good bacteria that we have in our body that are actually healing, and they help with digestion. They strengthen our immune system. But when our gut is out of balance, that's where we see the weight gain. We see the blood sugar levels increase and the cholesterol levels increase. So there's two main factors that kind of contribute to this, besides, our poor diet is one of them. And then if we're taking medications, that can trigger gut dysbiosis, the unbalance, just the way our body has to process that. So, and these are things like we're learning in our Jumpstart with Darren Hardy, things we know. It's not what you know, it's what you do with what you know. So we know we should be eating more diversity, right? More plant diversity, getting more fiber, along with the other things that we do already as a healthy lifestyle, the exercising, the drinking the water, trying to get more sleep. But they all go hand in hand, right? So we, if you can focus on that, getting that like we did before, and maybe I'll send it back out, the 30-day or the week of looking at how many plants you eat each day and getting 30 different ones in each week. That's kind of going to be my, as I'm meal planning going forward, making sure that I am doing that. And the diets that are high in animal protein and processed food tend to feed the inflammatory producing bacteria, while starving the good, healthy promoting bacteria. And animal protein has the L-carnitine in the red meat and the egg yolk and the dairy products, causes gut bacteria that increases the risk of Alzheimer's, strokes, and heart disease. And I thought that was like, whoa, because I have some dementia in the family, and definitely heart disease is riddled throughout the family. You know, so and I knew there was the correlation between red meat and heart disease, but we can have lean red meat occasionally. It's like we're never cutting things out, right? So for me, it's just being more mindful and having this science backing stuff, just to reiterate, you know, what I know and what I do is what I know. So, another thing we know is our inflammatory bacteria thrive on the sugars that produce from simple carbohydrates. So eating more grains, more, you know, our vegetables are a carbohydrate. And so versus plant protein, which fuels the anti-inflammatory microbes and suppresses the destructive microbes. So again, another plug for plant-based diet, plant-based protein versus the animal protein. A lot of us are well-fed, we eat plenty, but we're undernourished. And because we lack the nutrients, we lack, and even when we're eating the nutrients, if it's not getting absorbed, I mean, that's kind of like this key piece of, you know, what's going on with us and why we may not be seeing results. So the fiber fuel goes into in depth about probiotics and prebiotics, and prebiotics is the fiber. Prebiotics is what feeds your probiotics that are in your gut. So probiotics are the good bacteria, or the bacteria in your gut. You can, fermented food introduces more probiotic, the bacteria. And then if you're eating plant-based, you're feeding that bacteria. That's the prebiotic. And the fiber comes into two different things. So I've talked about this before, and our digestive health has this, the insoluble and the soluble fiber. So the soluble fiber is, it goes, the insoluble fiber just goes from your mouth and passes right through to your intestines, and it kind of sweeps as it goes and cleans things up. And the soluble fiber is different. It's able to make it to the gut, which then becomes microbes, becomes the prebiotic for the bacteria. So making sure you have both of those, because, and let me tell you, back in the day when I was, I've had gut issues for a long time. I have what's called a spastic colon. They said it's kind of like funky. So I've been dealing with this for forever. And the doctor would have me eat fiber in milk. So I used to get this bag of, look like sawdust, and put it in milk and then drink that down. And the dairy wasn't doing me any good. And that fiber that was just going straight through, or that was the roughage that was kind of like breaking down and cleaning out my colon, but not necessarily feeding my good bacteria. So in hindsight, it's like, what? And that was, you know, what the doctor told me to do. So there's short chain fatty acids that happen, that get unleashed. And so this was new that I learned in there. And I can't remember, breakdown of fiber by gut bacteria, it unleashes. Yeah, when the fiber breaks down, it turns into a short chain fatty acid. And they're really the superheroes that can ease gut dysbiosis, the leaky gut. And it reduces gas and bloating and irritable bowel syndrome. To get the benefits of short chain fatty acids, we do need to eat more fiber. We need to ramp up our plant consumption, but his tip is to go low and slow, like just don't dump a whole bunch of fiber into your diet at once. Introduce certain things, you know, so you can just start this week introducing some different plant foods. And kind of this is what happens when people do the 3-day refresh. If they haven't prepped ahead of time and they jump into 3-day refresh, they're getting a ton of fiber. Some people feel sick. Some people just get so bloated, they get constipated, and that's why. It really is a real acute symptom of the fact that you don't get enough fiber just generally, you know, before going into the refresh. So in his book, he talks about F goals. It's an easy way to incorporate plants into your diet to remember the different ones. So it's fruit. So the F is fruit. The G is grains and greens. The O is omega-3. A is aromatics, which is things like onions, leeks, and garlic. L is legumes, and you make sure you want to eat those cooked. When you pair like beans with rice, that becomes a complete protein. So that's your animal protein, right? And sulforaphane, which is the cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage. And we had all of those things in our reset. Like we had, obviously we eliminated plant protein. We eliminated grains, although you could have rice and quinoa for snacks in all phases. So F goals, I think it's a great way when I'm doing my meal planning, you know, looking at different diversity of plants, ensuring I'm getting great fiber, not having as much plant protein, and then trying to get a variety of the F goals into my week. So those are my takeaways. So then I'll let Deb share hers.
You're so good. Fiber fuel, I got really detailed in it this time around on the foods, because this was the perfect book to read along with Ultimate Reset. It did go hand in hand of exactly what we were doing and or experiencing throughout the process. So maybe that was just hindsight, but this was perfect. Anyways, I focused in on constipation because that was my issue. And he spelled it out pretty clearly of how fiber affects your gut system to the point of constipation. And what's interesting to me that, you know, gas or bloating, constipation, and then small poop pebbles, you know, that's constipation. And then drinking water and everything else. But I realized through this, constipation is another form of diarrhea, or it's another form of, how do you explain it? Well, I just use diarrhea as an example, that your intestines are so blocked that the only thing that the nutrients that you are eating or consuming, the ones that turn into water, is what's actually going through, and everything is still plugged up in there. It causes diarrhea. And I was like, oh my gosh, I would have never thought. I would have thought the opposite, that you just couldn't go at all. Well, I'm sure that's severe. But it was just interesting with that. And so before you endure any diet or even doing his eating plan, is what we actually faced in our Ultimate Reset, is that we had to reclaim our system. So before you even pursue any diet, like Louise said about the 3-day refresh, try to prep up with more green salads. I'm glad I did, to a point. I kind of waffled toward the end there, but I was having a green salad every day to prepare my gut for this. But if you're shocking your system to the point it's going to constrict more, and then you're really in a world of hurt of just shocking your system. So the bugs and stuff in your gut is just, fight or flight, And so, anyways, that's what he highly recommends is to track your food and then figure out how constipated you are. In this ultimate reset, we reclaimed our system for the first week, and then the second week, we released. And that could come out in any forms, and it could be poop or, breaking out or such. So I really, and then the food sensitivity kind of rolled into it, and that's where you do work through the food sensitivity, because your constipated system is um, becomes a thriving atmosphere for the bad bacteria, to the point it's wanting more of that bad food. And actually, you need to reverse that. And actually, you got to clean your system and then introduce the good food for those other bugs that were just dying, So, and what Louise, how I assimilate this is your HDL and LDL of cholesterol, because your HDL is the good cholesterol. So you want to overcrowd your HDL over the LDL so that your bloodstream is a lot healthier in your system. That's the same thing with the probiotics and prebiotics, is to get that up to a higher level to have that efficiency in your system. And the other thing I really liked about this, and I tuned in, and we have to treat our gut like it's a muscle and train it. And I exactly what Louise said is get that diversity of food is most important, but treat it like a muscle. So it's like your brain is a muscle, but your gut is a muscle. It's churning, the enzymes are breaking things down, it's trying to push things through, it's flexing and stuff in your intestines, and treat it like it. So, we need to put protein in our muscles. Well, feed yourself some protein. Well, you need some healthy fats to get things moving along. Well, intake healthy fats. So think of it as a muscle, and you got to train it. And then it will have its own muscle memory, and it will start doing what it's designed to do. And that hit home to me, and that's just like, oh, that's a cool one. And then, and the truth, he has the truth that you can't fix a bad diet with just probiotics. You see all these fads out there and stuff, it's like, well, this will fit you, or this will fix you. And I remember just that one little yogurt, Activia, because I remember before getting on all this, I was trying to do Activia, but I was supposed to get away from dairy. And similar to Louise is like, I was doing dairy because, oh, protein and stuff, but oh, I was worse off. So I really believe that you just can't fix it. You really have to have that balance. And the prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic with the short chain fatty acids. Um, what else? We covered out everything else, but there was another buzzword. Oh, legumes. There's a lot of legumes. I had falsified myself of believing I was intolerant, and learning more about the importance of legumes in your diet. And I didn't realize how pure protein you can get from the legumes themselves. And I've never had millet before, and I tried it. I don't really care for it, but I liked it in that certain tempeh I bought. It had tempeh is soy, it had rice, it had millet and barley, and it was really tasty. And it was like, well, I could have it in that. But just that idea of having those complex carbohydrate and the pure protein, how much it's so much better for your system and easier to digest and break down in your enzyme versus the red meat. So I know I keep going back to tempeh because now I'm tempeh crazy. I put that in my newsletters like, oh. So anyways, that's all I had.
Awesome. So if you have any questions about the reset, or if you haven't gotten the fiber fueled, it's a good one to just pick up and even like Deb suggests, open it up to a page and read something, and you're gonna get some takeaways from it. Like every page has them. He's the poop doctor. So he's on Instagram. I can't remember his handle, but you can look up fiber fueled and he'll come up, and he's got good tips all the time on there. So I'm going to stop this recording and then go quickly just into the prepare so that I can make it two different things.